What's up, guys? This is Doug here with Punisher's Paintball. I'm going to be interviewing our owner, Joel Baker, on what it's like to run a paintball shop and a little bit about his experiences doing that. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and follow us on all social media outlets. All right, Joel, I got a whole list of questions here for you. Let's just run these down. I want to hear what you think, all right?
Okay.
So first, what got you into paintball?
What got me into paintball? Well, I'm 28 now. I was probably about 12 or 13 years old, and just kind of like your typical, story. I heard about it, I believe, from a paintball or from a birthday party. Decided that I was kind of interested. I actually didn't go to the birthday party, but I was like really interested, and I decided, you know what, let's give it a shot. My dad was huge. I was like 12, 13 years old, right? So I can't drive, can't do any of that stuff. And my dad took me to a local field in Toledo. It was called You Do Paint Games, and it was pretty funny because it was like your typical like beginner field. Like the speedball course was like plywood. It had a really nice actually a really nice woods ball field, and I just started playing. I decided I really loved it. And I remember my first time like playing on that, makeshift speedball course. I was like trying to run up all the way to the 50 and everything else like that. And I had always been like a huge like war game person. Like I would watch like World War II movies. I was kind of like obsessed with World War II.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was able to live like that real life experience. So that's kind of how I got into it.
You were living Saving Private Ryan.
Right, yeah, exactly.
I mean, the first
which
time
I don't even know if that was out at that time. It was like, but needless to say, yeah, I just decided that I really liked it, and like, yeah, I was really into World War II, studied a lot of World War II and stuff like that, and it was like the perfect like real life scenario.
That's awesome. Well, here, let's get our next one.
Yeah.
When did you discover Punishers? Like, just as a team, as a brand, when did you find Punishers?
Man, that's a good question. So I started playing like 2003, 2004 is when I got into the sport. And, Punishers was like a huge brand back then in the Pittsburgh area. And it was probably like right when I started to get into the sport because they were a huge online presence and everything else like that. The original owner did a really good job with being big and supplying like smart parts and all that stuff. So needless to say, it was probably right around when the Smart Parts Ion came out, which was like the first beginner entry level gun that was featured. It was like right around $200-300, but it was like fully electronic, pneumatic, and
like
all that
the first
stuff.
entry level speedball gun.
Yeah,
you get, it was like affordable. Right?
Yeah, like it was equivalent of like what a mini GS would be now, whereas like you spend a couple $100 and you get like decent performance out of a gun and not have to break the bank, because back then there was like no mid-level performance. It was like there was no $700-800 Shocker XLS or Planet Eclipse 170R Die DSR. It was literally you had to spend a full $1,500 to get into that bracket of like a Die DM4 or a, Carnivore Autococker or something like that. So like it bridged that gap, And I remember driving up, but needless to say, like, Punishers was a huge retailer for the Smart Parts Ion, and I think that it was right around that time, probably 2005, 2006.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, that being said, the next question was going to be how long has Punishers been around? I think I've heard us say 03 was when the actually began, like started as a store.
Yes. I've never actually had a face-to-face conversation with the original owner, Rich, but needless to say, it was right around 2003 is what I've been told. And as far as like anything legal that I've seen, it was 2003 was the original
LLC or whatever.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. So, what made you want to purchase Punishers after years after getting into playing and kind of getting established as an adult?
Sure. Yeah. So it Punishers did a switch of hands in 2000 and let's see here. So 2016, there's a switch of hands. And it was actually, I just happened to get really lucky. It was a good buddy of mine, Colby, was the owner or purchased it from the original owner, Rich. And Colby bought it and ran it for about 2 years. We switched our factory team name from the Pittsburgh Bombers to Punishers.
Gotcha.
And Colby ran it really well for 2 years and decided that he was having a kid and everything else like that, and decided that he needed to do something else. So he sold it. He basically, the original, I had been bothering him because I wanted to be a part of it, because I have a full-time day job, and I was looking for something to do on the outside, and I always thought that this was really interesting. Paintball has been my passion for a really long period of time, and I wanted to be in the industry. And so I kept on asking Colby, and Colby was just very busy, and needless to say, we were playing together and everything else like that. But needless to say, Colby eventually decided that he wanted to sell, and I was the first person to talk to him about it, and we agreed on terms, and that's kind of how things came to be. Purchased it in June of 2018 from Colby.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha. So since buying it then, what's been your favorite thing about being an owner of a paintball shop? It's probably a couple things.
No, it's not, honestly. Okay, so at the beginning, it was like, the product, right? Like, I've always been inquisitive about the product and like what's the best gun on the market, or what's the best loader, or whatever the case may be. Now it's kind of like, honestly, it's the customers, dude. Like, I'm not even lying to you. It's like, I've developed a lot of great relationships. I'd say the customers and the travel, and being able to incorporate them both. Like, you and I going to play a tournament together in Nashville or something like that. Like, it's more about, for me now, it's about the memories. Like, I think that initial shock has worn off over the first period of a year, and now it's kind of like, it's kind of like, well, I can shoot. Stride, yeah, I can shoot any gun I want. So now it's kind of like, I don't really care about that. So where does it come in? It comes in from the guys that walk in, and I've seen time and time again, and you start to develop relationships with those people, and that's what makes it worth it.
From being here and starting to help out here and like work on your social media and stuff, people have come in and like I may not know who they are, but you walk in with some funny comment to them, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, that's another one of his buddies. Like, you're just friends with everybody that comes in.
Yeah, I that's what it ultimately boils down to, and I think that's what we pride ourselves on here at Punishers, is like our team. Me, you, Kenty, Keegan, and Max, like all of us pride ourselves on the customer service. I think that develops based on creating a friendship relationship with your customers, instead of just being like, oh, this is my customer. You know what I'm saying?
I think that goes a long way.
Yeah.
So then the other side of the coin to that question, what has been one of your biggest challenges?
Patience.
Yeah.
Patience, for sure. It's been 2 years in the making as far as making the store what I want it to be and everything else like that. There's been a lot of patience in every aspect of my life. Personally, patience in the sense of like, it takes me from home a lot. I have Brooks is about to be a year old, so I have a little baby at home. It's put a lot of financial patience as far as like wanting to see it grow quicker and everything else like that, as well as patience with customers and employees and everything else like that.
And I'm sure with obviously the virus going on and everything, that just makes it that much harder. We can't get anything right now. Nobody can.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, and patience on so many different levels with dealing with people within the industry, and employees and customers and everything else like that, trying to make sure everybody has a good experience when they walk through the doors and everything else like that.
Right.
So
to break it up a little bit real quick, funny paintball memory.
So it's funny because like you just literally showed me this list right before we started this video, but the first one that immediately came to my mind was like I was I was probably like 15 or 16 years old. Mm-hmm. And I was in high school, I was playing on a Sunday, and we were just being up on the hyperball field. Yeah. And so needless to say, there's like one person left. I was wearing my JT tournament pants, which back then was like a big thing, but they didn't have the adjustable waist, and they didn't have adjustable waist like pants do nowadays, where it has the Velcro on the straps.
Yeah.
So it was literally just belt loops. Well, I forgot my belt that day. So last point of the day, needless to say, I'm about to run this guy down, and as I'm running, I lose my pants, and literally did not have slide shorts on, didn't have knee pads on or anything else like that. So I'm literally running, and my pants are at my ankles as I bunker this dude, and like everybody on the sidelines is cracking up laughing. But that was probably like that I honestly had forgotten about that until I saw your question. I was like,
I love
that's
that.
pretty funny. Yeah.
It's the first thing that comes to mind. That's going to be the best one. That was
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
That was actually really
Yeah.
good. So, what is your vision for Punishers the store?
Ooh, vision for Punishers the store. So right now we have a 1,200 square foot store. What I would eventually like to see within probably the next 2 to 3 years would be for us to have a store, a larger storefront, as well as have a warehouse.
Yep.
That would be my next step. Initially, it was fill the store with product.
Yep.
We're getting there. The next point would be like have a massive storefront where people are already traveling from out of state.
Yeah.
But like make it the premier store anywhere you go, and then really have that warehouse in the back. So say for example, somebody has a pair of say push masks, for example, right, and we don't have it on the display case or on the display.
Yeah.
We can go up in back and select it.
Pull out something fun, something special.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So then
maybe a Punisher's edition push. This is pretty dope.
I'm just saying
The skull would work pretty good.
It really would.
Yeah, I can't take that away from Travis though. That's he's already got this infamous skull. So
We don't have one behind us.
yeah.
But another question here, a vision question, as far as the competitive team for Punishers. We have a few divisions. We have D5, D4. We have a D6 line that's trying to come back together. But what's your vision as kind of like the owner of the team as well?
Yeah. So, first things first, I would like to congratulate the Level guys for going pro. Columbus Level, which is about an hour south of our store, they just went pro this year, and I've known those guys a lot of those guys I've known for a long time. But the reason why I say that is because right now in Ohio we don't have any like middle divisional teams. Like we don't have any upper divisional teams. We don't have any semi-pro D2, D3 teams for the most part. So what I'd like to do is eventually enter our premier D4 team. We need to win a few tournaments. Once we win a few tournaments, I'd like to enter those guys into the NXL circuit and then create an entire farm program off of that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean that's basically where it's at. I think the lower divisional teams would still play regional stuff.
Yeah.
But have a NXL team.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, our D5 line is also looking pretty good this year. They just pulled third place at the Columbus event a couple weeks ago. So I think the program overall has a lot of potential to grow and keep growing.
I think so too. Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah.
It's all about the work. It's all about the work. And then last question here. What would be some advice you have for other people who are looking to get into running a paintball shop?
Running a paintball shop. Man. Do it because you love it, but don't do it don't do it because of a career choice. Like if you're thinking about branching off and starting a store, all power to you. But I would say like there's money to be made within the paintball circuit, but like don't do it just for the money. Like do it because you enjoy it. Like there's plenty of so I'm a full-time anesthetist, as you know, but I work in the healthcare field, and I work 40-50 hours there, and then I come here and contribute another 30-40 hours here every week. So it's not normal for me, or it's pretty normal for me to work like 80-90 hours a week. But when I'm here, I never feel like I'm working. So like, and it's not for me, it's not a paycheck, it's creating an environment for me.
I've been doing this since you were a kid.
Makes it appealing. Yeah. And like in Toledo when I was growing up, we didn't have we had like literally one place, and it was a joke, so like I want to create something that people are proud to come to and proud to call it within their state. But do it because you love it, do it because it's your passion. And the last thing I'd say is make sure that you have enough capital going into it. That's the one thing that I've learned is like I had to pour out a lot of my own personal money to even get the store on its feet, and now I'm finally the store has stabilized. But like you need a decent amount of money to invest in inventory. If you're going to purchase the property where you're going to locate your store, that's another point. But I mean, you're going to need at least $50,000 to $100,000 bare minimum to just get on your feet.
Yep.
But that would be my largest part. And work your ass off. Like that's ultimately at the end of the day, work your ass off. You got to work. If you're not working 80 hours, if you're just going to do a paintball store and you've made that decision, you better be working 80, 90 hours a week and keep on working and keep on working. If something doesn't work, then try it again.
That transparency is something that Punishers kind of prides itself on as far as the store, and that's shown through. In
I'm a straight shooter.
No, for real. That's the way to be.
Yeah.
Well, Joel, thank you for answering some questions today.
Absolutely.
I think people are really going to like hearing what you had to say on this. Okay. Guys, if you like this video, make sure to like, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And if you're looking for any new gear, or if you have a used gun you want to trade in, check out punisherspb.com. We have a great trade-in program. We take care of all the guns that are here. So thank you for watching. We'll catch you next time.